A Cherokee archaeologist is summoned to rural Oklahoma to investigate the disappearance of two women, one of them her sister. That's the premise of the new book, Blood Sisters, written by Cherokee native Vanessa Lillie. Vanessa joins us this morning to talk about her book. Good morning, and I guess kind of welcome back to Oklahoma.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here. As you can tell, I wrote a book about Oklahoma because it is a place I love, and I was so happy to share it with people.
Well, you don't live here anymore, although you do have family in Miami. Share with us about this story and why this particular setting.
Absolutely. So the story's about Sid Walker. She's an archaeologist for the Bureau of Indian Affairs. She's actually made a life in Rhode Island, where she lives, but she's called back to her small town in Pitcher, Oklahoma, after her sister goes missing and their dark past comes calling. And so for me, this was an opportunity growing up in Miami to talk a little bit about Pitcher, a place I knew very well, and kind of share the history and the legacy both of Pitcher and the environmental disaster and Superfund site that it is, as well as my own Cherokee heritage and history, as well as the Quapaw tribe that's there too.
Yeah, that's what's so cool is as I was reading this, and I will admit, I read this book in 4 days, and it's very rare in my life and schedule to find that kind of time, but it really was, I think somebody said it's binge worthy. I mean, you know more than, they're short chapters, you get to the end, and you want to know what's happening next. You really did a great job, though, of weaving in, you know, the places that we all Oklahomans will know for sure, but also about Indigenous women and this, I guess, across the country, this concern about murdered and missing Indigenous women.
Absolutely. For me as a writer, I really wanted to return to Oklahoma. I mean, I grew up there. We actually in high school studied Tar Creek as science projects as a part of an environmental club. So of course I know about the environmental disaster and I know about a lot of the mining history. But for me to come back as an adult, as a writer, to really do that deep research that I like to do because I love truth and fiction as a reader, and to really do justice to a place. So I loved returning there. And then as part of that research and work, I wanted to elevate the missing and murdered Indigenous women crisis in this country. It's certainly something we talk about now more than ever, but it is an ongoing crisis. And so I thought this would be a great opportunity to put some characters in that I hope will help bring an experience for people to really elevate the crisis in whatever way I can as a writer.
As a member of the Cherokee tribe, I mean, this is an important, it's important for you as a Cherokee member, but also just as a woman and trying to use your platform, if you will, to raise awareness.
That's exactly right. And I think now with social media, people are starting to learn more about it, and certainly with Killers of the Flower Moon and it being a little bit more in mainstream media. But I hope a takeaway from Blood Sisters is that within our own communities, there is work that we can do to be educated about what's happening with different tribes, to be on the lookout for alerts that go out. There's a lot of opportunity that we can ourselves step up and help make sure that these women, girls are found quickly, because as we all know, those first few days are so critical, you know, and that's sort of what went into Blood Sisters as well, is a little bit of truth and fiction around some girls who had gone missing. So if people are interested in the crisis as well as just kind of advocating for justice in that way, I hope that they do enjoy Blood Sisters for that.
I like the way you describe it as truth and fiction. I was trying to explain this, you know, to someone. I was like, well, this book, it's got all these real things in it, but it's not necessarily a real story, but it can be a real story. So truth and fiction is a perfect way to couch that. Sid Walker, your main character, will we see her again?
Yes, I'm actually working on the sequel right now. It's going to be primarily set in Rhode Island, which is where I live. And one of the tribes there, the Narragansett tribe, is one of the tribes that really first saw the pilgrim boats when they came over. So I'll be going way back in history. A lot of Blood Sisters is a trail of tears and our Cherokee history being in Oklahoma. But I'm going to go back several hundred years, even thousands of years, to the earliest tribal history and share some of their stories. And I've been lucky to connect with the Narragansett tribe as well. So I'm very excited to share her next chapter.
I've got about 30 seconds left, but I have to think the buzz on your book has just been phenomenal. And to get that kind of recognition when you pour so much of yourself into a book, what does that mean to you?
It's been incredible. I would say particularly seeing the missing and murdered Indigenous women, seeing Picture Oklahoma in a New York Times article,
right,
in the Washington Post. I mean, it's incredible to grow up in a place and suddenly you're seeing places you know and love in Oklahoma put in national media. I mean, Good Morning America, it's in every Target in the country. It's really been incredible how much this has resonated with people. And I really do credit it to these issues that are so important, environmental, the missing and murdered justice. I think people want to help and are hungry for stories that elevate them.
Vanessa, it's great to visit with you. Please make plans to be back on when your new book comes out next year. We would love to visit with you more. And anytime you're back in Oklahoma visiting family, come see us on the show.
I absolutely will. Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
For more information, you can find the book at any of your usual bookstores. It's called Blood Sisters by Vanessa Lillie.